Hey guys, Scripture here with another video, and I don't know why they do this. I don't know whether this actor was told to do this to put out feelers, or whether it's just like, I'm gonna do this because I want more work, if that's what the actor's thinking. But yeah, 5 years later, one Star Wars villain could somehow return. I've had enough of the somehows and the returns. I'm really... They're way past stupid now. Baddies in Star Wars can't help but clone themselves. Way back in 91, the way that Palpatine somehow returned was revealed in Dark Empire, in which he transferred his wicked soul into a young clone body. Remember at the end of The Rise of Skywalker when he told Rey to kill him?
You want to kill me? That is what I want. Kill me, and my spirit will pass into you.
And then she killed him, and he didn't do that. That did not happen. Unless he's, like, inside of her being all, like, quiet now. Waiting for the moment to take over her body or whatever. I'm not a big fan of this. I wasn't a big fan of it in Dark Empire. It's done in such a way that it is superior by a pretty wide margin to what we got from Disney with stupid Palpatine returning. There's an explanation, and you know the clone is a weaker version, and you know there's a little more realism to it. I still don't like it though, right? Like Anakin kills the Emperor. That's it. That's Anakin finally comes back to life, right? Puts Vader aside, saves his son, and you get that last 10 minutes of his life, he's Anakin again. And saving his son and killing the Emperor are a huge part of that, and bringing the Emperor back doesn't do that story any favors. And Lucas has said as much.
No one's ever really gone.
He has said as much. I've got previous videos with his quotes. He said that the Emperor doesn't come back, Luke doesn't get married, all that stuff. I know that bugs people, but he has been quoted as saying that. I'm sorry. Ditto Palps for Rise of Skywalker, which basically he did the exact same thing. Not really, because they didn't even explain it. But cloning yourself in order to live forever isn't just a Palpatine trick. It's also the major villain's move at the end of Mandalorian Season 3. First introduced in 2019 in Mando Season 1, Moff Gideon, as played by Giancarlo Esposito, was revealed to be obsessed with creating clones of himself. And I kind of viewed it as they are trying to normalize cloning pre-sequels to try and validate Palpatine coming back in the eyes of fans. That's my take. And then they do the same thing in the Bad Batch. They spend all this time, slowly explaining Palpatine's cloning and this and that and the other thing. It's all just to normalize Palpatine coming back. That's all it was done to do. And Mandalorian Season 3 was really weird anyway, and didn't really make much sense. Presumably all those Gideon clones and the original Moff himself perished in the big explosion. Well, no, the Gideon clones were killed by Mando.
Let's go.
But new comments from Giancarlo suggest that maybe he didn't. Yeah, he did. There's a big movie coming out that's focusing on Mando and the child, Esposito told Empire in a recent interview. I can't say I'll be in that. It'll be that, but I hope to be able to join that franchise again, because I think there's more road for Moff Gideon. Who are these people? He got incinerated. And all his clones got blown up. Like, did one of those clones after the water drain, like, sneak out of there, all naked and cut up from slipping his body through the hole in the glass and then go running around? Like, come on. I mean, this is stupid. For one thing, isn't it great that Esposito calls Grogu the child? It's almost as though he believes he's still Moff Gideon, and everyone is just confused about his character's demise. But more seriously, his almost in-character observation about the upcoming film Mando and Grogu could perhaps indicate that he's lying. Esposito If Esposito was secretly in the movie, he would totally say something like this, so his denial combined with his interest in the future of the character might be a giveaway. Maybe. If he's in it, it's stupid. It's stupid. They have to stop doing this. It's dumb. It is dumb. Write a new compelling villain. I know you suck at it. I know that Kylo Ren was a pouty babyface and wasn't a very good villain at all. But write a new villain. Actually, you know what the pathetic thing is? Kamir would actually be an interesting villain if he wasn't in the wrong place. Actually. That's the one thing I will give the Acolyte. But he's basically Darth Venomous. He makes potions and poisons and stuff like that. And Venomous was one of the apprentices, loosely, of Plagueis. But, him fighting Jedi and doing all that stuff didn't make any sense. But as a character, I actually didn't mind him. Some of the other, the headbutting with the special metal and stuff was corny. But his character, right, the way he acted, talked, the sneaky nature, all that stuff, again, him being involved with making potions and poisons and things, that's very, very, very much an interesting villain. But, of course, they used him totally improperly and dumbly. But they can't write new villains. They don't know how. They're never that interesting. Balin was kind of interesting, I guess. Even if Gideon isn't in The Mandalorian and Grogu, the method of the character's hypothetical return to the franchise is pretty clear. Before Palpatine was revealed to have been brought back from the dead, the notion of Sith clones wasn't even a thing in the mainline canon. Yeah, I know, and it was better that way. Just everybody cloning. Conversely, a path to Gideon's return is very clearly spelled out in Mando Season 3. He could certainly come back as one of his own clones.
No one's ever really gone.
So what, he's got another whole thing of clones somewhere hidden? He wasn't that compelling of a villain anyway. I don't get it. What's interesting about this notion is that Esposito wouldn't necessarily have to return as the exact same character. If he did reappear in a future season of Ahsoka or some other Star Wars project, it's possible that a Gideon clone might have the same personality or motives as the original Gideon. I think they meant to say might not. Because they said wouldn't have to be the exact same character. The other nice thing about the clone setup in Mando Season 3 is that it's possible that we'll never really know which of the Gideon's clones was the original one. Like the Cylons, if there are many copies of Gideon, it may not matter which ones were destroyed. All it takes is for one to be left.
No one's ever really gone.
That said, Star Wars certainly doesn't need to bring back Moff Gideon, mostly because the revelations about the character in Mando Season 3 rendered him as kind of a rogue Imperial hobbyist rather than a mastermind. That's exactly. That's actually well put. He's not that great of a character. While there's close to zero chance a younger Gideon will pop up in Andor Season 2, it feels like the best place for more road. No, he's dead! Stop this nonsense. Gideon was kind of cool in the first season of Mando. He did give you those vibes that, he was a legit villain, and then in Season 2. But Season 3, he goes off on this weird thing over here that doesn't really have anything to do with anything other than his own selfish little thing. It's like, it's lame. Like, he's part of the Shadow Council, but even the Shadow Council was lame. It's just... they're trying to, have this, see, there were still Imperials... none of those Imperial officers had any ability to do anything, obviously, because they weren't very organized. They had a meeting, but they weren't very organized. So they're talking about Thrawn, and it's just Mando Season 3 just wrecked it. Remember when Gideon freaked out when he saw Luke Skywalker in Season 2? What was that about? If there's ever been a character who deserves a prequel, if there's ever been a character who deserves a prequel and a bigger backstory, it's totally Moff Gideon. Really? That's such a Jacob thing to say on Twitter. That's a Jacob tweet. Moff Gideon is some guy. He's not that compelling. He's not. He was kind of cool, like I said, Mando Season 1, Season 2, but we don't need backstories for every single guy. The only character, honestly, they need to do a prequel about is Windu. Because Windu was a very, very main character. Especially in Revenge of the Sith. He was a vital... Well, actually, all through the prequels, really. He's essentially the number 2 guy on the council. If anyone deserves a prequel, it's Mace Windu. Not Moff Gideon from a TV show. Anyways, do you want to see this guy again? I sure don't. Let me know in the comment section. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, always helps the channel. Feel free to check out anything else on my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.